What is up, my fellow gamers? In today's video, we got our best beginner's guide for the PC game MOBA Predecessor. Subscribe to the channel, thumbs up this video for more amazing videos. We are going to go over all of the different roles first, and then we are going to go over the map so that way you can understand which lanes you should be playing in depending on the roles you choose. First up we have is the carry role. Now this is going to focus mainly on characters who are ranged damage dealers. Carry heroes have the highest damage per second and they tend to scale as the game goes on. As a carry hero, you're going to want to put yourself in the side lane that is beside Fangtooth. You're also going to be trying to buy as many items from the shop as possible and just getting tons of gold early on. So because of that, early game you're mostly just going to be farming up minions and destroying them as fast as possible. Next up we have the jungle role. Now I would say this is by far the hardest role to play in this game and pretty much in any MOBA. When you first start off as a jungle player, you're going to be focusing on destroying minions on your team's side of the jungle. Aside from that, your main goal is going to be assisting your other laners by attacking the opponent's laners and stopping the opponent's jungler from trying to wreak havoc on your lane pushers as well. As a jungle player, you can also venture into the opponent's side of the jungle and try and steal their minions as well. This role tends to have high mobility characters, which gives you the opportunity to easily ambush anyone from the opposing team and really take on a 2-on-1 or 3-on-2 team advantage battle. This is by far for more strategic style players. Next up we have is the mid laners. You will typically start off the map in the middle lane. Your main goal is to clear the minions in the middle lane as fast as possible and then rotate either left or right to assist with those other lanes. So as a mid laner role, you're going to be doing a lot of rotating, a lot of roaming the map, which is very important for team battles and picking off lone wolves or AKA off laners. So just kind of rotating in and getting those 2-on-1 advantages to try and get quick kills. This class typically has high burst DPS, so they're very good at clearing waves. Next up we have is the solo laners, or AKA the off laners. As a solo laner, you're going to be taking the lane that is adjacent to the Orb Prime monster found in the jungle. Off laners tend to have really good survivability and don't need any help. They can pretty much lock down a lane by themselves. As an off laner, your main goal is to just pretty much dominate your lane and try and scale up to the later game so that way you can be more powerful for those big team fights. Off laners are strong for engaging in team fights and also split pushing. The off lane role is one that I suggest for new beginners. And our final role is the support. At the start of the game, the support's main role is to help out your carry or your high DPS damage dealer. As a support role, you're going to be giving your team utility and doing your best to keep your team safe. As the game progresses, you're going to be looking to try and provide protection for your team as well as putting some crowd control effects on the enemies in team fights. Supports typically focus on healing, buffs to your team, and also supplying vision buffs as well, so that way your team can see more on the battlefield, and that will help stop you from being ambushed from your opponent's jungle players. This is also another role that I highly suggest you are a brand new player to this game. All right, now let's take a look at an overview of the map so that way we can better demonstrate which lanes you should be running in depending on your roles. So this is the map. We have 3 lanes. We have a left lane, we have a middle lane, and then finally we have a right lane. Now, the little purple icon you see in the middle part of the jungle is the Orb Prime. I'm going to do a whole video on all of the different buffs and the monsters in the jungle later on in a future video. For now, when you look at the map and you see the Orb Prime, know that on that side is the off lane. So if you choose the off lane role, this is the lane that you're going to be battling in primarily, as you are going to be a solo laner. So that leaves us with the middle lane and the far left lane. Now for this far left lane, this is going to be called a two-man lane because we are going to be having two heroes run in that lane, and that is going to be our carry and our support. The easiest way to determine which lane that is going to be is the fact that the carry and support want to stay together, and they are on the lane that is closest to Fangtooth. And this is pretty much always the opposite of wherever the orb prime is. So a very easy way to do it is just kind of look at the orb prime. That is the easiest way to identify the layout of the map. So if you're an offlaner, you're going to be closest to orb prime. If you are a carry or a support, you are going to be in the lane furthest away from the orb prime. Next up we have is the middle lane. You are going to be playing a mid laner role. So your main focus is going to be go through that mid lane, destroy the first wave of minions as fast as possible, and then you have the option to either go to the left lane or go to the right lane for assistance. There isn't a right or wrong lane to choose at the beginning. It's all kind of strategy with your team. So you have to decide whether you want to push really hard on the lane with your carry and support, or if you want to go over to the offlaner and help them out in case they are falling behind or the enemy decides to stack that and have a rotation in that lane. But as the mid laner, you're going to be constantly going back to that mid lane to clear the waves and get a nice push going. So mid laners are tough roles to play because you are constantly rotating from your middle lane to either right or left. And then if you choose the jungle role, you're going to be in the jungle area, which is represented kind of in between the lanes. You're going to see these like side areas next to the middle lane. There's one over here on the left and there's one here on the right. As a jungler, you're going to be destroying the minions to get power-ups and buffs. And you're going to be trying to ambush the opponents after you get those buffs and after you kind of get those extra coins and stuff from destroying the minions on your jungle side. You can also take a chance and try and steal the enemy's jungle area as well. As you see, the jungle player has to be very, very strategic. Your main focus as the jungler is to try and get easy kills, snipe out the opponents. But that is it for today. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed the video. I will have some more guides on this game. Hope you have an amazing day. Stay happy, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.